This is TJ with Tech Made Easy. Welcome to the channel. My channel is all about making things affordable, practical, and easy. And what we're going to talk about today is 3 alternatives to Microsoft Office Suite. Now, I'm not going to be going over the Google Suite. Most people know about those, but I'm going to go over these other 3 alternatives that I think are great alternatives to the Office Suite. Now, does that mean that these alternatives are going to be better than the Microsoft Office Suite? That depends on your needs. But at any rate, we'll go ahead and review these. Now, one of the reasons why I do this is years ago, probably 10 years ago, I was using Office 2003 for a long time. And I just didn't, I owned it. I didn't want to go to the new version. I didn't want to pay subscriptions, so on and so forth. So eventually, I was also thinking about maybe the possibility of going to the Linux desktop. And so I started finding alternatives to the software that I had in Windows. Whether it came with Windows or with something I had purchased, I started finding free versions of that software. That led me to these Office. We're just going to do a light review of all 3 of these suites. You can make the decision what you want to do. Maybe you might want to try 1 or 2 out, see which one works best for you. I will admit I started one and now I'm on to another one that I like a little bit better. But again, that's to the eye of the beholder of which one of these will suit your needs. Let's get started. Here we are at my desktop, and I got a web browser open. I've got tabs open to the introduction page to each one and the download page, and I'll leave these links in the description below. The first one I'm going to go over here is LibreOffice, and right here you can see some samples. Depends on how small your phone is, but we'll go into these. And so all of these come with a word processor, a spreadsheet, and a presentation. LibreOffice comes with a draw program and a couple other programs beyond that. So anyway, the download page is right here. What you're going to see here is you're going to see that it's got Windows, it's got Mac right here, and it's got Linux, so on and so forth. So you just choose what version that you want to download it, and install it. That's all there is to it. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and go into these. When I show what's in these offices, I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just going to show briefly the word processor, the spreadsheet, the presentation package, so on and so forth. But if we go here to OnlyOffice, here's OnlyOffice front page, and you'll notice that a lot of these have a very similar interface to Microsoft's Word or their Office Suite. And so here's OnlyOffice information page, and then here's their download page, and you'll notice here's Windows, even an XP version, believe it or not, and you got it for the Mac, and then you got it for Linux, and the different flavors of Linux. And if you go down below, if you're a Linux person, obviously there's app images and Flatpaks there as well, and Snap. Okay, so as far as WPS goes, we're right here. This is our introduction page. You can, with all of the versions, you can save as PDFs, but they actually have PDF viewers. And LibreOffice has what they call Draw, and in Draw you can edit you can edit text, you can move things around. There's limited editing that you can do with a PDF with Draw, is what I'm trying to say. And the same thing with WPS. It has a limited PDF editor. But here's the download page, and again, you got Windows, Mac, and Linux. And so let's just really quick, let's go ahead and jump in to these Office suites. Okay, so let's take a look at these Office suites. And this isn't going to be a deep dive. I'm just going to do a quick review of the word processor, the spreadsheet, the presentation package. Some of them have more than that, like LibreOffice has a draw package, and a couple other apps that go along with it. WPS has a PDF a viewer as well, and you can edit with both of those. You can edit text, move any pictures around, so you can do minimal effort edit with that. So it's great if you need to, if you don't have a PDF editor that can edit PDFs. And you can move the pages around in different orders, stuff like that. But let's just cover the three basics here: the word processor, spreadsheet, and the presentation software. So all of them have what I call a master app that you can create spreadsheets, presentation from that master app, or you can keep them separate in separate icons like we have here. WPS Office, you have to use the master app to create them. But let's just jump into them really quick. So the first one we're going to look at here, you're going to notice here, this is LibreOffice, and the icons are a little different, but you can do a ribbon like you do with Microsoft Word and Excel, and you just have to go into the viewing and turn on ribbons. So one thing I do want to talk about is with LibreOffice and WPS, when you go to save a file and you hit save as, it will give you a lot of different options, Microsoft options. But the one thing I did notice is that OnlyOffice does not. So just keep that in mind. If you need to be able to save in different formats, then you may have to use one or the other. But this is the whole thing about these suites, is that one suite might work better for you feature-wise or this-wise, whatever the reason might work better for you with what you're doing. But there's three suites to choose from, and so people that have a lot of macros, say in a word processor, it does a lot, pulls stuff from Excel, all that kind of stuff, then this may not be for you. A lot of those formulas convert over, but I don't know about the macros. And so, but if you're just doing basic word processing, spreadsheets, so on and so forth, or maybe, and it's not that formulas don't convert over on the spreadsheet, it just depends on how complicated they are. So you might want to test those waters out first. It may be that you will want to stay with Microsoft Office Suite, but these three options are great options for you to choose from. Are these three suites? So basically, you have your icons up here. Again, you can do a ribbon one if you want. Let's just take a look at OnlyOffice. Now, this is a spreadsheet for OnlyOffice, but let's open up a file. And the reason why I want to open up a file here is I want to show you something. When you go to open up a file, one thing about OnlyOffice, it takes a sec to load and refresh this screen here. And so the others are really quick. And the reason why I mention this, if I have an older system, I mean maybe 15 years or older, then I will use LibreOffice. One of my laptops is 20 years old, and OnlyOffice just slower to open, where LibreOffice opens up right out of the gate on that older system. So that's what I mean. It depends on your use case, but I will admit that I have started using OnlyOffice more. I started with LibreOffice maybe 10 years ago. That's the only one I knew about back then, and so I started with LibreOffice. So let me just really quick just show you this picture here. Like any other word processor, you can do your wrapping styles over here. You can right mouse click on it, go to your wrapping off options here, and it's the same with all three word processors. So a lot of the features you have in Word, you got mail merge. I don't know how many people mail merge anymore. I used to do a lot of mail merging, making labels and stuff like that. You can do all that with these. And this little thing, panel on the right side, you can turn that off if you want. You can just go turn off the right panel while under view. Let's just go home. But what you have to do is just load one up. Maybe you look at the website, see what you can find out. But these are great options. And so let's just look at WPS. Let's open up that same file. So let's just go to Docs, and there's that sample file. It's going to say, yeah, we still want to open it even though it's read-only. If it's in read-only mode, we might not be able to change. Oh yeah, we can do that here. So we can still change this here. But and anyway, you're going to see that this one has even a little bit different layout, but still a rhythm layout, very similar to the Microsoft Office suite. So let's go back to LibreOffice for a minute, and let's talk about spreadsheets here. Now, one thing I did find out about the LibreOffice, even though I've used it for a long time, I checked out OnlyOffice, I want to say a couple of years ago, and I just couldn't get over the fact that I didn't like this main menu here that you create your files from, and in the Windows version, they have the apps separate, but in the Linux version, which I use, you can only, they don't separate these. You can't. So if I go, let me just back up here. Let's go into our app section of Windows, and if we go here to, let's just look at LibreOffice, just so you know. So you have all of the apps are separate, and you can put them on your toolbar or on your desktop. But and then in OnlyOffice, they're separate here as well. But on the Linux side, they're not. It's only this. So you have this master plate that you panel that you create all of your documents from, and I kind of didn't like that, but now I'm used to the idea. I've actually switched over to OnlyOffice, but again, I used LibreOffice for years, and part of the reason why I started using LibreOffice because I was looking at maybe the possibility of moving over to Linux, and so I wanted to replace all of my paid software with free software, or open source, free and open software. And so that's what I ended up doing, so that if I made that transition to Linux, it would be a lot easier. But let's just go back to the spreadsheet here, and this is the thing that kind of threw me off with the spreadsheet. Yeah, I can do all the things that you do with Excel, or even back when I was using Lotus, but I was used to the summation formula up here in the toolbar, and I couldn't find it. Now it is here, but it's actually located right here, and so you just hit this, and then you have to go choose your cells. So there's just some little things like this that I was like, kind of frustrated me at first, because things just weren't in the place that I was used to them being in, but I had ended up getting used to it. But recently, in the last few months, I have gone to OnlyOffice, and part of the reason is it's more laid out like I was used to. Here's my summation formula, and so on and so forth. I mean, so I kind of like, and it's a little bit, it feels a little bit more like Excel, to be honest. But again, that's up to you. LibreOffice has been around for a long time. It's really heavy on the Linux side. A lot of Linux distros are installed with LibreOffice and OnlyOffice as well, but LibreOffice seems to be the big one. So WP Office, it again has a great spreadsheet app, and if we want to get this formula down here, it's on the side right here, auto sum, and so on and so forth. But so again, I'm not doing a deep dive into this. I'm just kind of having you take a look at the interface. But they use the same formulas as Excel, so it's a really easy transition, unless you have, like, let's say you have a spreadsheet, you have 3D spreadsheets, and it's grabbing formulas from all these 3D spreadsheets all over the place. It may not convert over, and you may not want to spend the time to rebuild that much work. But so again, these are just options. So now let's go back and let's look at the slideshows for a minute here. So for a slideshow in LibreOffice, I can just hit New, and it's going to give me a list. Let's do presentation, and it'll pop up here with some templates that we can use, and I'm just going to choose one, and then it'll automatically fill these in here, and we can change the. So I mean, it just gives us some slides here. If I don't want to use this, then I can just delete it if I don't want to use that slide, or I can just start from scratch and make one of my own. So now let's just look at, let's go to not WP Office, but let's go to OnlyOffice, and let's just go ahead and do a presentation. Let's see here, we've got to go to this tab here, and now on this one, it doesn't allow you to choose the templates when you load it up, but you can just choose them from in here. And just so you know, in the presentation software, it's 100% compatible with Microsoft Office presentation software. You can import those in, their templates in for your templates. So you really, it's great. I mean, if you're doing slides and you want to import some of those in, grab some templates off the web, you can do that. And so I'm just going to choose this one here. And when I go to add a new slide here, when I hit a new slide here, choose which format I want next. But I can click on this and I can change the layout right here. So I can, if I want this layout here, which is the one I already have, and so on and so forth. And it's got these icons in here if you want to bring in a chart, a picture, spreadsheet, so on and so forth, video. So let's take a look at WP Office. And I'm not a big slide presenter. I do make slides for some of my YouTube stuff. But one thing I've noticed with WP Office, if we create a new slide here, it has a whole bunch of templates here. Now, in order to download one of these, oops, that's the Pro one. I think if it says Pro, and this is the thing I need to talk about with WP Office. It's free, but they have a whole bunch of features beyond their free one, but you have to pay for those features. I don't know what all those features are. You'd have to go onto the website and see what they are. But it seemed like this one said, let's go back here. It said Pro on here. So I think the ones that say Pro, you have to pay for. So like this one doesn't say Pro. But when you go to download it, you have to be signed in to download it. And I'm not going to sign in. So I'm just going to create a blank one. And in here, you know, I can create a new slide. And I pretty much have the same choices I had out before, where I can change this layout here by just going here, choosing a different layout, or I can go here and choose. Well, let's see if I can change the layout. And here looks like slide layout. There we go. And so we can change the layout here. One thing I do like about this one is I did notice it has a lot of transitions, and just this is just me looking at this because I don't put together a lot of presentation of slideshows. Again, I do a little bit for my channel, but real basic. From what I can see with this one, it might be a little bit more robust than the others, but again, I'm just guessing from what I've played around with it in the past. And again, these are all available on Linux, and we're going to go to my Linux desktop because I want to show a few things there as well. Go to the Linux desktop. One thing I want to show you, and you have to do this in Linux and in Windows and on the Mac as well. LibreOffice has its own format for saving Excel, Word, presentation files, and so on and so forth. So what you're going to want to do is you want to click on Tools, and you're going to go to Options. You don't have to do this with WPS or Office only because they automatically save in Microsoft formats. But what you want to do is you want to go to Load and Save Files, go to General, and then this one here you're going to want to say, okay, I want to load this as Word 7, or even old Word, where it was the doc when we had the doc extension. And so now one of the things that I don't know if you know this, but if you're using documents of different flavors, you know, a 2000 Word or 2007 Word can't open up a 2010 or higher. But there is a patch from Microsoft that you can install that makes it compatible with different versions. But anyway, so if you need to, you can save this if someone's using 2007. I'm just going to put this in here, and then I'm just going to hit Apply. So then after you do that, what you want to do, this is for the writer, then you just click on here, and you want to go same thing with spreadsheets. See, they've got their own proprietary format, and I'm just going to hit 2007 again, hit Apply, and you just go through their presentation. You can do that with Draw, Math, so on and so forth. So with they call it Impress, and you're just going to go PowerPoint. Say you want 2007. So you just, and so now when you go to save a document, it'll automatically save it as a Word document. So that's how you do that. That's very important. Something you need to know if you're going to use LibreOffice. It might get a little frustrating for you if you're saving a file and then you go look at it. It has a different extension than the docx file, or you send it to somebody and they're like, "What's this?" They can't open it. That's how you make that compatible. So now we're at my Linux desktop, and I'm using Linux Mint Cinnamon if you're curious, and then I've modified this desktop. It's really easy with Linux Mint. It has a whole bunch of options that you can change and that you can put in. Like, this isn't the default menu here. I went ahead and installed this one and so on and so forth. But if you want to see how I did that, there will be a link down below. But one of the reasons why we're in here is I need to talk about Linux for a minute. Linux does not have some of the Microsoft fonts like Times Roman, Arial, that other Microsoft users will probably use in Word or Excel, so on and so forth. And so to make that more compatible, then you need to install Microsoft fonts into Linux. And at the end of this review and presentation, we'll go ahead and cover that, because a lot of Linux people know how to do that. But if you're new to Linux and you just started using Linux or you're thinking about it, this is how you would go about doing that. But first I want to just go show you a couple more things with these Office programs. So right here we have a PDF, and I'd mentioned that you can edit with LibreOffice Draw, and I believe WPS you can do some minor editing with PDFs as well. And it's kind of nice to know, because a lot of PDF editors you have to pay for, and so if we want here, we can go in here and change some of the text in here. We can go ahead and get rid of this image if we want. We can insert an image into here. And so we can just make light modifications. We can draw, put lines on here because we're using the draw program, and so on and so forth. We can take this, we can rearrange our pages here. So now I can make this page 2 instead of, and now it becomes page 3, and that becomes page 2. So I just wanted to show you that. And then on top of that, I'd mentioned that that I had been using LibreOffice for years, and now I really do like the spreadsheet better in OnlyOffice, and so I have switched to OnlyOffice. I just wanted to pull it up here in Linux to show you that it's the same. It looks the same as it does on Windows, so on and so forth. One of the other things is too that I'm just going to talk about really quick as far as presentation software and PowerPoint. Again, PowerPoint templates, you can bring those into any of these Office suites and use those PowerPoint templates if you want. But when you go to create a presentation in this WPS, it's a little different from the Windows one. You can just say from template, and it actually has this template box with some default ones in here that you can use. And then you can also purchase some of their own ones as well, but you just have that capability here as well, just like I showed you in Windows. I just wanted to show you that, and now let's just go ahead and move on and let's install those Microsoft fonts and we'll be done. So another feature I need to mention really quick, and not all of these do this, but OnlyOffice has a web version of this where you can do it in a browser, and they also have storage that you can save to, so you can also share your documents that way over the web. WPS Office, I don't know if they have a web version or not. You'd have to check that out, but they also have storage options as well. And anyway, so those are some other options I need to mention really quick. So all we need to do to install those Microsoft fonts is we just go to the terminal and we put this command in, and again this will be in the description below, and then you just hit enter, and you're going to have to put in your password, and then you're just going to want to say yes to everything or okay to everything. So we'll just install that, and we're going to hit okay, and we're going to hit yes, and then those fonts, those Microsoft fonts, will be installed, like Times Roman, Arial, so on and so forth, and we'll be able to see those in our Office suites on Linux. Okay, we're done. Now there is another command that you might want to put in. What this does is this refreshes the font cache, and so you just have to enter. And now the problem is with doing this is one thing. Now I've noticed in both OnlyOffice and WPOffice the fonts will show up, but sometimes in LibreOffice they won't after you install it. Sometimes you have to reboot the system. So if they don't show up in LibreOffice, just reboot the system and then the fonts will be there.
Now that was easy peasy.